Empty hearts and neon lights. They're playing with my mind. Gotta get out.
Hey guys, and welcome to day 43 of random YouTube videos and planning ahead and trying to put as many up as I can. 43, we're nearly 50, a week away from 50. Anyway, Saturday, time for a small book review, and this book is called The White Rabbit by Bruce Marshall, and is one of the earliest books I remember reading, and just it changing the way I viewed literature, from the perspective that it told me a story that I could never have learnt anywhere else, or from any other source. The man who this book is about, Wing Commander Yo Thomas, is a Frenchman. The White Rabbit was his code name. The caption for the book is "The secret agent the Gestapo could not crack." I've always really enjoyed World War II, and it started with like little books and little stories here and there and little documentaries. But the book The White Rabbit really made me view the Germans as the absolute... Nothing made me view the Germans as the bad guys more than this book, The White Rabbit. The first half of the book, first third of the book, is him in France organising people to form the resistance. Then he goes to England, requests and demands an audience with Churchill to explain to Churchill that these French resistance fighters haven't all surrendered and become Vichy France, which a lot of the French people had done. They hadn't all forsaken their hope and given up. And he convinces Churchill to start airdropping supplies, food, munitions, ammunition and guns to these Frenchmen. Then he goes back to France and sets up a huge network of spies and resistance agents, and eventually, due to one guy, he gets betrayed and caught. But after you are caught, you're blown. But for the first 48 hours, you can't give out anything. The first copy of this book I had, my mum bought it for me many years ago. I'm going to say like when I was like 10 or 12 years old. There were multiple pages torn out of the book, and a lot of Tipp-Ex was used over various torture scenes. And as a kid, you're like putting it up to the light, trying to see through the page, see what the words could be. I remember just reading all the parts that I could eventually end up reading, because the two pages that were glued together became unstuck, was where the Gestapo would put their keys on their finger and like spin them around and just into the skin of the man. Just very gruesome, and having read it after I got older and bought my own copy, it's just unbelievable what they went through just to hold out for 48 hours. After 48 hours and anyone's heard from you, they know the Germans have got you, they change all the codes. And any information you do give the Germans becomes useless. He escapes 3 times, gets recaptured, he gets sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp, escapes from there, leads an escape charge, and then gets captured by French prisoners of war who are trying to, sort of between both sides. Amazing story. He didn't last very long after the war. The effects of the torture, the malnutrition, and just the overall beatings he took for like 2 years in Germany just took his toll on him. I think he died in that strike 10-12 years after. But there's a whole part of the Imperial War Museum, when I went to see it last, dedicated to the White Rabbit. Some of his meeting notes, some of his operations and power drops he did. It's a really good book. It's harder read for sure. It is not written. I mean, if you look at the book itself, it's not written in the most easy to read English, and it's not written, I don't know, in a style that is just like easy to read. It's a tougher read for sure. It's an advanced reading book, but it's a really solid, heavy-hitting reflection on what some people gave up for freedom in France. And obviously we have this sort of joke in England about how the French flag is white because they're always surrendering, and when Barack Obama visited Germany in 2012, so many Germans were jumping up and down cheering him that France surrendered just in case. There's some great French memes, but some Frenchmen really gave a lot to fight the Germans, and Yo Thomas was one of them. Anyway guys, thanks for listening, and see you guys tomorrow.